My neighbor asked me to house sit for him while he was away for a week. There wasn't much to the job. I was to make sure his cat was fed twice a day and to clean up the litter tray. It seemed simple, and Carl was a nice enough neighbor. He was quiet, kept to himself, but he asked me to look after his cat while he went to go visit a relative in a hospital across the country. Carl gave me 2 rules. 1, make sure the cat was fully fed before sundown. And 2, do not let the cat outside. "What's your cat's name?" I asked Carl. "Is it a boy or girl?" "Oh, it doesn't have a name." He shook his head. "And I don't know. Its food is in the cupboard under the sink." I found it a little odd that Carl didn't name his pet, but I brushed it off as the eccentricity of a strange neighbor. "I fed it this morning," Carl said, "so if you just feed it later on before sunset, that'll be enough." "Sure thing, Carl," I nodded. Before he left, Carl gave me his phone number and a spare key to his house, then drove off. When I entered Carl's house later that day, I did not see the cat. I went to the kitchen and saw an empty food bowl with the residue of some cat food smattered around the edges, and a half-empty water bowl. I washed out the food in water bowls, and I refilled their contents. I waited for the cat to come get its food, but it never did. I assumed the cat was shy and went to the litter tray to clean it. I left Carl's house and thought nothing more of the encounter. The next day, I went to Carl's house to feed the cat once more. Again, I didn't see the cat, but I went through the routine of cleaning out the bowls and litter tray and making sure a tin of food was out for the cat. I did the same when I finished work. I was displeased that I hadn't seen the cat. I was hoping to at least play with it, but I noticed that Carl didn't have many cat toys. In fact, I didn't notice a single one. I thought that they were perhaps upstairs, but aside from the cans of food in the bowls, not much else about Carl's place suggested he even had a pet. There were not claw marks on the furniture, no hairs about the place. There were the bowls, and there was the litter tray, but nothing else. It wasn't until Friday when I made my first mistake. Some of my colleagues invited me out to drinks with them after work, so I tagged along. I hadn't realized how late it was until I got back to my house. Shoot, I thought. I didn't feed the cat. I was about to dash in through the door of Carl's house to feed the cat, but instead I laughed at my unnecessary panic. It wouldn't exactly be the end of the world if a cat had to wait an extra hour for his food. I went to my own home first to sort out my things before walking over to Carl's to feed the cat. I entered, and closing the door behind me, I walked straight past his living room to the kitchen. On my way, I was stopped in my tracks by a voice. The living room lights flickered on. "Where's my food, Carl?" The voice, smooth like butter, flowed from an unknown source. "Excuse me?" I spun around, looking to see where the voice had come from. "Oh," it sounded shocked. "You're not Carl." "No, I'm not," I stammered. "I'm Jake." "You're the one, are you?" A black and white cat emerged from underneath the coffee table in the living room. "Well, I'll let you off this once." "Oh my God," I reeled back. "What the hell?" The cat prowled around, weaving past my legs. I stumbled backwards, almost standing on it, but the cat dodged my tumbling motion. "Watch your step," it hissed. It jolted into the air and hovered there. A black glow, an aura of darkness, swirled around it as it floated in the middle of the room. As it was engulfed in the blackness, I saw its fur melt away and reveal a skeletal form underneath. Remaining only were its great glowing eyes and the cavernous sockets. Right, you want food. I tried to dart to the kitchen, but a black aura surrounded the door as it slammed before me. Wait right there, the cat purred, still suspended. Understand that being a cat is already undignified. I don't need servants who forget the times at which I require meals. All right, I winced. It won't happen again. I fed the cat, then left as soon as I could. The final few days went smoothly. I did as was required, and made sure that all doors were locked upon my exiting the house. Carl returned, and immediately I could tell that he knew something was wrong when I returned his spare key. You saw it, didn't you? Carl asked. Yeah, I did, I said. Well, don't worry. You won't need to do it again. Carl went back to his quiet self after that. I tried a few times to ask him about the cat, but Carl shrugged and refused to divulge anything more than I already knew. I decided it was best to stop pestering him, since he was obviously content to keep things as they were. I would just like to know the reason for Carl's second rule. What exactly would have happened if the cat got out?